America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was going to put him.
We're losing our democracy!
More inflation. What a stupid son of a bitch.
Wake up!
Before we get into that, let's get into this. How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the Liberty Bowl. It is, of course, live stream Friday. As we do every Friday here, we come together, talk about the news, latest going on in culture, politics. I don't know. I guess we're back to waning between the golden age and the fall of Western civilization as we know it. It's still a toss-up. But joining me, as always, is my co-host, Liberty Swine. How you doing this week, sir?
Damn fine, man. Enjoying the perfect week before it becomes scorching hell out here. Good times. How about yourself, bro?
I'm doing all right, man. Doing all right out here, working like a slave again. back at it, But nonetheless, can't complain. Could be worse. Could be unemployed. That'd be terrible. All right. Living off the fucking government, man. No, I'm just kidding. So anyway, we got a little bit of news going on this week. Of course, Canada's elections were held. I'll give you a heads up. Polyev didn't win. Pretty sure y'all knew that though. Ukraine signs a minerals deal finally, if I can actually signs the damn paper. China getting wrecked by Donald Trump in these trade wars right now, as they're reporting their lowest factory output and sending out ships half full. Not looking good for them right now. Europe experienced a massive blackout, pretty crazy stuff. 7-Eleven employees been trying to impeach Donald Trump for some reason. And Germany is doing what Germany does and banning the opposition party. So let's go ahead and start with Canada. So of course, Mark Carney ended up winning. Polyev didn't do good at all. He even lost his seat in whatever
that he's held for years.
Right, whatever sort of parliamentary weird ass system they got going on up there. It didn't go well. Of course, one thing that is very kind of telling is Canada has their elections whenever they feel like it, eh? Like whenever the time is right, we'll decide we're holding an election now. And so that's what really kind of took place here. They pretty much waited until because the whole thing they were trying to use is Trudeau stepped down, so we have to find someone to replace him before we could actually get the whole race going and everything. But either way, they timed it just right. They waited for Donald Trump to get in here and scare Canada into being weirdo, commie, liberal Canada, as they've always been, even though they started to get a bit of a rebellious streak with the whole trucker protest, things like that. They voted back in the fucking super leftist.
Yeah, an absolute continuation of the years that have decimated their housing market and their what is it called, the loon, right? Their dollar,
right?
But Mark Carney was the obvious choice from jump. Everybody said it as far as the leftists were concerned. So I mean, it wasn't even about finding the next person. I mean, he's the next WEF lizard in line. Polyev pretty much had it on lock there, right? It seemed like he was going to absolutely murder it, but then he decided to try to out-left the left to get their votes instead of riding home on Canadians. He started pandering to the foreigners and let's I'm more anti-Trump than you are, which absolutely destroyed him. If he would have stuck to the crisp, clean eating an apple while decimating a so-called journalist, he'd probably be the prime minister now. You know what I mean? He started to make a slight edge up towards the actual election counting and whatnot. But like you said, he just got fucking crushed. Right. And what's sad about it is, like you said, they didn't just wait until like the Trump thing. I mean, that was what ultimately killed Polyev. But it more like they waited for him to kill himself. They waited for him to sink in the polls, and then they were like, Remember that snap election we were supposed to have? Here it is.
Right, right. And of course that does raise the question of I mean, was this intentional? Did Trump play a role in this? Because of course that's what even Trump's trying to say. Like pretty much, yeah, fucking sabotage the thing. Paraphrasing, of course, but essentially, yeah, I fucking sabotage the thing. So of course,
Saying Polyev was more anti-Trump than Carney, when in reality that's not the case. I have to say that this is poor judgment on, personage, which is kind of a historical fucking modus for old Trump sickles. But anyway,
right, right. Well, I mean, ultimately, Donald Trump has been planning on going against Canada from the get go, whether it's Carney or whether it's Polyev. Of course, with Polyev being the more populist or right leaning,
I guess you could say fucking centrist, really. I mean,
right. Yeah, that really kind of I don't know how the I guess the look would have been. I feel like Polyev probably lost a little bit of his gusto once Trump ended up winning, and he's like, well, fuck, now I can't take pages out of the Trump book anymore, whatever that means. Right.
like you said, the contest just became I'm more anti-Trump than you, and,
Right.
that's not a winning strategy, man.
Well, I mean, of course, Trump's been fucking trolling Canada as hard as can be. Like fucking 51st state, as you guys can see with the thumbnail. Like fucking, that was one I made myself. But essentially, he's been threatening Canada with shit, either become the 51st state, or get rid of the fucking tariffs that you have on our dairy products, or fuck off, we're coming for you.
And do you know what's sad about it, dude, is Polyev could have took the anti-Trump stance, but in a different fashion that would have appealed to a different audience. As far as like, this, we're not going to be the 51st state. This guy's a fucking stooge. We're gonna make money off this dude. We're gonna take America to
Right.
the bank. Why? You know what I mean? He could have ran across it differently, but their boomer generation, if you see the polls, their number one concern was going against Trump, at like at 78%. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? Above the economy, immigration. I mean, any sensible, aspect went completely out the window for that generation. Which pretty the same here. I mean, that's pretty much who you see mainly at the anti-Elon protests and whatnot.
Yeah. Yep. The old folks. But of course, with all that stuff, being said by Donald Trump and stuff like that, that really did become kind of the whoever's going to end up winning the election is going to be whoever's the most anti-Trump out of the two candidates. And of course, with Polyev, like I said, being the more populist, as the journalists say, taking a page out of Donald Trump's book, I think it would have been hard for him to really kind of pull that off in the long run. And I mean, not in the long run, in the short term, just before the election, which Carney was able to pull off much easier, because of course he is anti-Trump. He's fucking pro-China. He's all fucking WEF, globalism, communism, leftism, fucking suicide,
Progressive immigration.
right? Fucking medical assistance in suicide, like progressive immigration. He's basically the total antithesis of Donald Trump. So obviously he was able to pass off that character and that stance much easier than I think Polyev was. So ultimately, just Donald Trump getting elected really did kind of sink Polyev, from the start.
Yeah, like I said, I think that he played into it, and that was his mistake. You know what I mean? He
Right.
he could have just left it alone, or he could have come at it like a tough guy. And I think either way would have been better for him than the way that he tried to take. Basically, like I said, he basically tried to out left the left, and you're
Right.
not going to win.
I mean, like, fuck you, Donald Trump. We're going to put fucking Canada cheeses on the map. We're going to be
Right,
selling them around the world. You guys ain't
right.
going to be able to do shit. Fuck
You
your
seen who
dairy.
won the hockey championship,
Right.
right? Man?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, definitely could have appealed much more to the populace, seeing as that was his core base anyway,
Yeah.
But
Yeah, and I mean Canada's right as well. Even though he's become pretty disappointing and exposed himself as a centrist rather than anything akin to being right. He still would have garnered that vote if he would have took either one of those stances that I mentioned, in my opinion.
yeah. Yeah. So obviously fucking Donald Trump is trolling Canada for the most part. But in terms of 51st state, what did you have you heard about Alberta looking to not become the 51st state? They've been pretty clear about that in their statements, but basically to become independent of Canada.
Yeah, and apparently in their constitution, it's in there to where, if they get something like 250,000 votes, that the rest of the country has to come to the table with serious negotiations. Not, we're not going to listen to this. This is silly, or right wings conspiracies. Like,
Right,
it's
threat
legit
to
written in their
democracy.
constitution, right? So they could ultimately do it if so inclined. I don't see it happening. But, you never know, because America's been swallowing up land since its inception. And, I don't just mean like we stole the lands. I mean, some of it obviously conquered like a motherfucker, right? But
Right.
most of it purchased and,
Yep.
manifests even destinies.
Yep. And especially when you compare, the I guess the two differences in Canada and America. Canada fucking went about getting their independence the pussy route. And they'd never fought for shit. They waited until fucking Britain got tired of having them as a fucking colony, and they're just like, no, you guys govern yourselves now.
Right.
And then even that was still with British rule all the way up until it like 1980 something. Like they just got full independence like fucking 30 years ago.
And they don't even know who they are, man, under
Right.
British rule, and fucking, God save the Queen, like on their cash, but they all speak French as if, they were still under French control, which was before the English. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, they
Yep.
don't know who the fuck they are, man.
Right. They're fucking redheaded stepchild up there, man.
It's
Yep.
America's
Right.
largest national park.
Right. For real. I mean, that's what it's gonna be. They keep fucking around. They're gonna find out. But now ultimately, obviously we don't want fucking all of Canada and all their fucking weirdos up there and shit, being able to take place in America's elections, things like that. We don't want them necessarily to have any sort of say in America because
Absolutely
they're
not.
fucking nuts. They're fucking psychos.
Right.
And there's plenty of them. There'd be another California. They'd be, instead of America's hat, it would be America's fucking, I don't know what's a hat
Vagina.
now, right? America's pussy hat, So yeah, but Alberta though, that is by far the most conservative Providence or whatever the fuck they have up there in Canada. I don't know. They got weird names for everything, but up there in Canada. So I mean, if they were to secede, of course, like they said, they don't want to be, they want to be independent. They don't want to be 51st state, but sometimes inevitabilities do happen, um,
Yeah. Look at
right.
Hawaii. Look at fucking the total West Coast, Alaska. Fucking, you know what I mean?
Right. Right. And again, I don't think that fucking, Maine Canada, whatever the fuck mainland Canada would really fight too much to get them back. I think it'd be very, it's like, oh, dang it, eh? Because like I said, they haven't fought for anything. Why the fuck would they fight to, stay together? Like they haven't fought for a single thing. Like I said, they literally got their independence because their ruling nation got fucking bored of them and just like, it's a new age, man. You guys go do you,
They did a pretty good job at like fighting to deperson the freedom truckers.
Right. Yep. Like I said, that was that one twinge of rebellion within Canada, and yeah, that was pretty short lived, to be honest. And
You
then of
start
course,
cutting off bank accounts, man, changes things real quick.
right. But I mean, even with the elections, the sentiment itself even died down. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, wasn't I guess you really do just need to fucking lock Canada into a box, or into their houses or shit like that in order to actually get them to do anything.
It's
So,
that largest voter block at this point. We have the same problem, like I was just saying, here in America. It's that boomer generation voting block, which is the largest right now. And, they can pretty consistently vote left, and, nothing will change their mind. They're the generation with the most entitlement that suffer the worst cognitive dissonance of all time.
yeah. Yeah, fucking living, born and raised in fucking, the most affluent time in American history, and and they're gonna sit here while we're going through a fucking economic crash, and like, oh, you guys just need to pull up your bootstraps and just
Right.
work
Willing to
two
sink
jobs.
anything to make sure they get their fucking social securities off your check, bro.
Right, right,
You know what I
yep,
mean?
yep,
Meanwhile, the fucking the social security funds broke because of decades of their voting habits. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yep, fucking absolutely ridiculous, man. And that's why I say Trump's got a lot on his plate, man. But one thing that he's definitely doing well on is this trade war, man. He's out there fucking. He came in like a wrecking ball, like for real, man.
Yeah,
Uh,
what are we up to now? 5.2 trillion in total investment in the United States just since the man's came in office, which is more than Biden's fucking 4 years total.
right, fucking manufacturing's coming back to America, and China's pretty much getting put in their place. Like China was trying to rise up. They were trying to act like they were. We are the next superpower, and we're the next world superpower. It's in the numbers. We crunch the numbers because we're Asian, so we figured it out. It's we're the next superpower. And then Donald Trump came in and said, whoa, sit down, right? So of course China has just their shipping containers are leaving the ports half full where they used to be overflowing, hanging off the edge. You don't know how the fuck those things floated, and now they can't even fucking fill up half of a single ship to send it out. They reported their was it a 2-year low in factory activity. I've been seeing countless. I don't know what the fuck's propaganda and what's not anymore, especially when it comes
Yeah,
to
exactly. That's exactly what
from
I was
foreign
thinking while you're
nations.
saying that.
But uh, I've also been seeing stuff coming out like their citizens are finally getting fucking angry at the CCP and Xi Jinping calling for him to step down. I've also seen reports that farming and stuff like that is just all getting fucking thrown out in the streets because of course that is perishable. We're not taking none of that shit. Nobody else is really taking any of that shit. So ultimately, it's the only place that it can be sold is in the markets, and nobody in the markets is gonna fucking just buying fucking mass amounts of fruits and vegetables, things like
Yeah,
that.
you
So
got to remember that the vast majority of that population, away from the coastal areas, subsist on like $2.50, $3 a day. So
right. So I mean, their own country's not consuming all that they're putting out. So basically, China's fucked right now, like in a bad way. Like I said, we don't know what's real, what's propaganda, especially when it comes to things with China, because who the fuck's over there filming this shit? Like, China let you fucking leave with that video? Like, you just stream it over? Like, how don't they fucking like block every signal or some shit coming into it? Like, place is a
why
fucking
the
communist
communist
nation,
broadcast system, of course.
right? Like, how do we know what's actually real, what's fucking old footage from like way back in the day or something like that? We don't really know, but ultimately, just based off of the fact that we're the consumer, you guys are the producer, if the consumer tells you fuck you, we're not buying your products no more, I'm pretty sure you're gonna fucking break first before we do. That's really kind of how the whole I guess consumer market works.
It's Bud Light on a macro scale.
Right. Yeah. Like you're gonna get to the point where you can't give away your shit to us. Like we ain't taking it. And ultimately that's gonna cripple you a lot faster than it's gonna cripple us. So again, it's we don't know what's gonna come of it, but it looks like China doesn't have much of a choice. They have to again recognize their place in the world, in the economic world. You fucking make our toys for our kids to play with, and you sit there and you shut the fuck up and you're happy about it. And that's the end of the story.
You poison our kids with lead paint.
Right. Yep. And yeah, it's like I said, it's looking pretty good in terms of like I said, things coming out on the up and up. Of course, everything in the news is just this tariffs trade are terrible, absolute terribleness. Sky is falling. Like this is the shit. I think actually the jobs report just came out for the first quarter. I haven't looked at any of them, but I saw a headline just a little bit ago that I think that just came out. But from what I've seen on the headlines, of course, is it's on the up. It's definitely
about
much
three
better.
quarters of a million jobs added since Trump's taken office. 177 last month, which exceeded, the doomsayers, right? And you're going to see a turnaround. like you're saying, just now, China's exposed themselves as the paper dragon that it's been called for years, and most people didn't believe because of the Leviathan with buying power. But like you just said, again, free market on a macro, right? You're seeing it's supply and demand, and if the demand isn't there, the supplier's fucked.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Shove
You're
it up
stuck
your
with a
ass,
warehouse
man.
full of shit. But like you said, you don't know what's propaganda, fog of war, right? But word on the street is that the state even has laid off thousands of people because we know they subsidize everything. I mean
Right.
that's communism. That's why they manipulate the value of their own dollar rather than actual market value. So you know you don't know what to say beyond you hope it doesn't start World War III, because historically, when
Right.
large economies begin to crumble, it leads to war. And
When worlds collide.
yeah, and they're always ramping up. Whether it's claiming land that's not theirs, creating false islands to set up military bases on, or just overall saber rattling. They're constantly
Claiming you
trying to
own the
escalate.
ocean.
Yeah, exactly, exactly.
Yep. Yep. But like I say, either way, it's Donald Trump. Again, everyone is always, oh, tariffs. These things are terrible, unbelievable. It's just a tax on your own people that prevents them from being able to get the goods from overseas, and stops free trade and all this and that.
But the
When you
same people will vote for fucking luxury taxes on cigarettes, you know what I
right,
mean, as a deterrent to get people to quit smoking. Like, it's the same thing. We're trying
right,
to break your addiction to fucking cheap shit.
yep, yep. And then at the same time, even if Donald Trump is just using it to fucking swing that fucking big stick, he's showing that he could fucking swing that big stick, and it works. The dude wrote the fucking book, The Art of the Deal. And yeah, he's putting it on full display for the entire world to see. Again, it's America holds the power, at least on paper and everything right now. But ultimately, as you did point out, a lot of times it's not like everyone's just gonna like, oh, darn it, they beat us again. Oftentimes it does kind of escalate into things beyond just economic wars. So
Yeah.
we'll have to see how it all plays out. But in the short term, at least for right now, it's looking like a lot of these tariff wars, things like that, are their effects are finally starting to come to effect.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that we have to worry about at this point in reality as Americans is shortages, because we haven't known that for 45, 50 years, right? And so I mean, that right there obviously can be an issue, and it can turn the tides for Trump, because you've seen here this week his polls are back up. But once there's shortages, once people can't get the exact food items they want, they'll freak the fuck out. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it could change things drastically, even as far as to civil strife, which we're already looking forward to. Summer of love,
Right.
5.8, whatever it is at this point. But the tariffs obviously can be a good thing, and it's worked out in a lot of ways as far as other countries have come to the table almost immediately, and started to work deals that are beneficial, for America for the most part, but for both, rather than lopsided on purpose. Like, we're doing good, so we got to fuck ourselves to make sure these people are doing good. That's the aspect that's trying to move away from, and of course the pressure to increase American fucking production. And hopefully, American companies that are left take advantage of this time period to try to get their fucking products out there, man.
Absolutely. And that was kind of my big hang up with, like I said, that Rand Paul speech that I sent you the other day. And it was like, dude, like, we don't fucking make anything here. Like, we can't fucking find jobs that aren't, like in the fucking food industry or anything like, people can't fucking find jobs that are actually paying, a livable wage, that are actually worth the shit, that are actually in demand. Everybody's fucking expendable out here. And it's because fucking, what do we produce in America? Fucking dollars and entertainment.
Right. But again, that's what you see these tariffs doing. You have plants saying they're going to increase production. You have other companies
Exactly.
saying they're going to invest in new plants here. I mean, so and then the plants already exist a lot for the lot of like the automotive field and shit like that. If there was more demand for American cars rather than Toyotas and Hondas and shit, which you primarily see on the road everywhere, they could increase production, which they could open up wings of fucking, production plants that have been sitting idle for years, you know?
Exactly. Which is why I was, kind of upset with Rand, and it's like, dude, it's something that we haven't fucking done in over 100, almost 200 fucking years. And it's effective. It's working. Like, dude, like, why are you gonna fucking go like, whoa, 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 you guys? Like, China is literally on
It's
their
that
fucking
liberty
knees.
thing.
I
It's that
know,
libertarian
man.
streak that
I know.
taxation is theft is, I
Right.
mean, and, in principle, you understand. But like we said before, in reality, it's two different ball games, man. What sounds pretty on fucking paper doesn't always work the same in reality, you know? It's
Right.
that utopian aspect.
Yep. And at the same time, dude, like we're going back to like pre 1913 fucking economics in America right now. Well, not necessarily economics, but the style in America right now. We're trying to fucking reduce taxing the fucking people, which was part of the fucking the constitutional amendment that they had to make because the fucking founding fathers were pretty clear to not tax the fucking people. And we're going back to fucking tariffs. We're going back to taxing foreign nations and protecting our industry. Like I said, like give it a fucking chance. Like give it a at least a little while to work. What is it, fucking? He just passed his first 100 days, 3 fucking months. A little over 3 months, dude.
Yeah.
Like, we still have a long way to go. Like if he's getting this much done, if he has China fucking basically, I say on their fucking knees within 3 months, like yeah, I think we should probably. I'm pretty sure he knows what he's doing with this.
Yeah, and people got to remember that the establishment, that especially the ones that are crying the loudest, the old rat face Schumers and rat skin and all them cats, these people have reigned, over trillions of dollars of debt. All they've done is decimate the dollar and the economy, since time almost in memoriam at this point. I mean, like a lot of these cats, like again, rat face Schumer took office like in 1981. You know what I mean? When the national debt was $500 billion, now it's over 36 fucking trillion. You know what I mean? Like these people have destroyed the joint, and they're the ones screaming the loudest and pushing the largest fear fucking mongering. And of course, the people in their age group, again, the fucking boomers, buy into that shit because they still trust these fucking finks. But you just got to realize all these people are fucking bamboozlers. When you see cats talk and they start moving their hands like you're at a sermon, absolutely no, you're
Right.
being bamboozled, man.
Yep. Yep. Absolutely, man. But nonetheless, man, you love to see that it's starting to actually work, it's starting to take effect. And like we said, the best thing that Donald Trump could do is get results. Get fucking results that stick with the people, that make people see like, oh shit. All right, cool. Like I guess we didn't fucking vote for the wrong guy. That's what's gonna keep this train a rolling.
Yeah,
That's what's
and no
gonna
matter
put
how
them.
how hard they try to push the old buyer's remorse aspect, man.
Right,
Like,
right.
speaking of which, did you see the Schumer shit where he's like, Donald Trump has the lowest polls of any president in the first 100 days, and 70. You got to go back 70 years, and then reporters are like, well, there's a poll out right now that says yours is the lowest of all time at 17%. Don't you feel you're a drag to your party? He says, well, polls come and go.
I'll see if I can find that one real quick. Actually, that sounds
Shit
fun.
bag.
Chucky Schumer. But shit, man. Another good thing that Donald Trump's done is well, actually, let me see if I can pull up this Chucky Schumer real quick. And then we'll talk about peace in the Euro East. Let me know
Yep, and the
if
tariff thing sucks, right? Like I said, it could eventually lead to shortages. It is going to increase prices, and but you were explaining this in the beginning before you fucking cast your vote. What did Trump say? There's going to have to be a little pain in the beginning, and even the lowest denominators like us cats on this fucking channel told you it's going to get harder before it gets better, and
right.
the wound always goes through pain, but as it heals. and you're gonna have to spend a little money. You've been used to opulence, and fuck, act like it, man. Show a little imperialism. It's all right if you got to pay a few extra dollars for fucking, to save Mercas and at least put an attempt forth to increase production in this country. And of course, fund tax cuts. And no matter what they tell you, even the CBD came out and said that not only did it increase revenue, but that the middle class were the ones that reaped the most benefits from the Trump 2017 tax cuts. So, suck a cack. Even the left wing censorious Google will give you that information for freezes.
All you got to do is ask nicely. Do you see it up here at all?
Let me see. I have to roll the screen, man. That could be it, the one you're hovering over, but I don't think it is.
Let's see real quick.
Sucks you're on X, 'cause-
The way
now more than ever, we're
Nope,
short
it's
of
not
workers. We have a population that is not.
I mean, you could always pull up my Instagram; it's on there for sure. But
yeah, I don't think I'm signed into Instagram on the computer. I just have it on my phone. But either way, old Chucky Schumer, man, always good for a laugh.
yeah, the rat face lizard king, dude.
So right, I wish I made those mugs, man. I actually made or no, that was a fucking Mitch McConnell lizard person mug. Am I not turtly enough for the Turtle Club? But so in
that's right there.
where we're at. You sent it on
I
Facebook?
just sent it to you, Messenger. Yeah.
Hold up. All right, here we go.
Polls this week showed Trump has the lowest 100-day approval rating since they started polling 80 years ago. The lowest. Yes.
There's a poll out today that has your approval rating lower than any other congressional leader at 17%. Are you concerned that you may be a liability for your party?
Polls come and go. Our party is united. We're on our front.
Fucking did.
The polls.
Right.
If it
Why does
wasn't
he always
for
look
double
like that
standards,
whenever-
they'd have none. Because he's a rat face fuck, dude.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Like,
He's
dude,
been wearing that
you're-
skin suit for a long time.
Right. It's like you're wearing reading glasses. Like, why do you have to get like that to fucking to read every time, man?
And that douche
Yep.
nozzle behind him, Dick Durbin, the second highest ranking Democrat in the Senate, just announced he's not going to seek fucking re-election, dude, after 780 years in office.
Yeah, fucking love to see it, man. It's we were talking about that I think on the last one, right? The fucking the old Democrats are finally dying out. Right. Yep.
Yep.
It's the young fucking wokies coming in now. They're gonna take over the fucking party. AOC's next in line, man.
You're seeing they're trying to play an old whoopsie on him, dude. They're saying that the election wasn't legit, that that it bereft some chicks that check the boxes, their chances of leadership in the Democrat Party. They may end up having another election on his ass real quick.
Yeah, I mean, either way, the fucking the demographic, the age demographic change is still going to take effect.
Yeah, it's going to have
David
to.
Hogg
All
or
these
someone
cats
else,
are
you know?
dying, right? Fucking
Yep.
carcasses.
Yep. And so, yeah, hopefully we could fucking give them a little smack, put them in their fucking place before they get all crazy fucking commie leftists like these motherfuckers do. I doubt it. But I feel like that's something that needs to take place up in United States legislature.
Yeah, dude. The younger ones are the ones that are running around right now, cussing because they think it makes them cool and edgy. In reality, it just shows desperation. And then
Right.
when you point this out, people, talking to you, well, you cuss, motherfucker. I'm not in public office.
Right.
Like, you know what I mean? I'm not legislating what happens in your life, little Bobby. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right, I work a 9 to 5 and host a fucking show on Rumble and YouTube fucking on Friday night. Who the fuck am I? I don't give a shit, you know?
Absolutely no one, just some dude, man.
Right. Fucking this guy complaining on the internet, man. But shit,
Not even
man.
complaining. I'm having a beautiful
Right.
time.
Having a fucking blast, man. It's Friday night, bro.
Right.
But fucking Ukraine, man. So of course it wasn't day one. Wasn't day one, guys, like you said, liars. He didn't even keep his promise. Fucking it's so hilarious, yo. Fucking he's like, oh, Donald Trump did not keep his promises. Like motherfucker, Joe Biden promised that he was gonna cure cancer. What the fuck you talking about? He didn't keep his fucking campaign promises and fucking secure peace on day one. Like, get the
Right.
fuck out of here with that shit, dude. Right? Fucking ridiculous. But ultimately, it does seem like things is happening in Ukraine as Zelensky has officially come and fucking penned his name on the deal for the mineral rights over there in Ukraine. Of course, we talked about this. It might have been last week, might have been the week before. I'm not sure. But ultimately, that deal alone is essentially going to secure peace within between Ukraine and Russia. Even if not peace, then much higher escalation, because ultimately we signed that deal. Those fucking minerals are ours now. We're going over there. We're gonna fucking collect them. And yeah, you're not. There you go. You have your fucking strip. You have your island. Fucking, you ain't taking shit else because we own that shit now. And essentially that itself is going to secure peace over there within Ukraine. Russia's not going to be able to take any more land. They're not going to be able to reach any farther in. Either that or you're quite literally fucking dipping into our Kool-Aid right now. So yeah, there you go. You got fucking something secured over there in Ukraine, man. What you think about the old minerals?
What do I think about it? I think that it'd be great to get that money back. You know what I'm saying? I mean, let's extract every goddamn thing we can out of there and
Right.
then bounce out. You know what I mean? But it's going to take an extended period to get set up. And
Mhm.
it could very well be, a guarantee of security, or it could very well be, a guarantee of Putin saying, fuck it. Because, the whole red line was, Ukraine join in the UN. I mean, it's even worse.
Right.
American workers and machinery, refineries are going to be right there on the border, like looking you in the
Don't worry,
face.
they're not part of NATO. They're just a territory of the United States now.
Right, exactly.
Right?
I'd say
No
that's
deals
even
were
worse.
broken, man.
Yeah, because the rest of the UN pretty much fucking piss-ons. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? I mean, just our GDP alone is more than the entire EU combined. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
I mean, dude, I mean, absolutely horror story for Russia. I'd have to believe. But on the backside of that, if there's enough concessions to make the dude happy and make it look like he won, I mean,
Right.
I don't see why he wouldn't take it, because again, you're not talking about dealing with, some small European nations as resistance fighters. You're talking about the largest military on the fucking planet, dude. You know what I mean?
Right. And ultimately, the best thing for Russia and the Russian citizens is to make peace and fucking become trade partners with the United States and the rest of the world. Well, you have the opportunity, seeing as this is the first president in American history since the fucking Cold War that is even willing to talk to Russia. That is willing to even look at Russia as like, you know what, you guys aren't the fucking boogeyman that we need to all mobilize and make sure that you don't dominate the world because you guys are Hitlers. Like, he's the first person that's not looking at Russia in that sense. He's looking at Russia and is like, hey, you guys got a lot of land, you got a lot of workers, you guys make shit over there, you guys got fucking oil. Like, come on in and fucking join the party. Like I think
Well,
ultimately
see,
that's
with that, as far as I'm concerned, I would keep the sanctions on. I'd say
Mhm.
you can trade with us, you can trade with your current trade partners, but as far as Western alliances, I'd keep those sanctions on, and you got to buy that LNG from us. Like, you know what I mean? You're not getting that from Russia, as far as
right.
that's concerned. I mean, that's just the route I would go. Of course, you'd
Yeah.
have some that's fascisms or fucking, you know what I'm saying? Whatever, that's controlling the market, but it is what it is, dude. You got to do what's best for number ones.
Right. Well, I mean, ultimately, yeah. I mean, we could include that with it. Of course, that's something else that we are doing right now is we are economically placing ourselves in positions of dominance all over the world. So I don't see why Russia would be any different. I mean, especially if anything, they'd probably be as that they've never been before. They would be again, not necessarily like, oh, we're best buds or anything like that, but hey, we realize that you guys aren't the devil, fucking let's go ahead and let's do some business here.
As long as it goes to what seems, as the plan with the concessions, they got a warm water port now. I mean, I'm sure that makes a massive difference just in
Mhm.
their trade abilities right there.
Right. Yep. But like I say, ultimately, all of those fucking options right there are still better than war with the United States. So I mean, ultimately, that's especially after they've been fighting war for what? When was this? Like 3 years now. It's been over 3 years, I think, right?
I think it's been 3 years.
Yeah. So yeah, their people are fucking tired. They don't want to keep doing this for the rest of their fucking days, however long that may be. And of course, they got to replenish supplies, retrain more troops. You got to do all the that stuff that you're supposed to do after a long war.
I mean, you've seen Putin was even importing troops. I mean, he even had
Right.
some Korean troops at the
Fucking
front lines and
yep.
good
Some
times.
Chinas. Some more
That one right
Chinese.
there, that one right there. You don't know if that's fog of war, propaganda, or what, because
Right.
there's no actual proof of that. But apparently, with the Koreans, the Ukrainians have it on film where they just apparently fucking annihilated them, just lit them up on the front
Right. Well, I mean,
lines.
they're just walking in a fucking road, dude. What the fuck else are you supposed to do, man? Like
They're
they're all
coming out like it's early 19th century fucking
right.
field battle and stuff.
Fucking huddling together and shit like that. These are drones. They explode, man. Like, you got fucking everybody scattered, dude. Scattered like cockroaches, man.
Right.
Yeah. They obviously weren't ready for anything, man. But yeah. So I mean, ultimately, the best fucking deal for Russia, I think, would be all right. Let's calm things down. Like fucking, we got a warm water port. We got part of Russia, part of the old Soviet Union back. But
Yeah,
ultimately,
just absorb tens of thousands of people.
right.
You know.
Yep. Yeah. And so, I mean, ultimately, I think the best thing for them to do right now is just like, all right, fucking, let's calm things down. But yeah, that really is a big fucking kick in the teeth. Like, fucking, you don't have NATO in your backyard. Now you got America itself,
Right there, dude, on the border, like in the morning. Hey, shitter's full.
Right. So, like I said, man, Donald Trump essentially, in a sense, like I said, it everything could go one way or the other. That's the same with everything, like I mean, like it ultimately, um, I don't know, give an example or whatever, but uh, ultimately, it could go one way or the other. Either they could go the peace route, or they could go the well, fuck you, we are Russian, we go to war.
Yeah, well, Pooty Poot just called, a ceasefire, which I don't think it's kicked in yet. I think, or maybe today. I can't remember exactly which day it was supposed to kick in, but I mean, he's called a ceasefire. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully, everything's riding out. The death stops, and we get billions and billions of dollars worth of rare earth minerals and whatnot.
Right, and ultimately, that's even more of a fucking kick into the slant eyes of China because yeah, we got our own fucking minerals now. We got our own source. Like
Yeah,
we don't
and
need your
Japan's
shit
going to
even
start
more.
making chips right here.
Yep, we don't need your ass even more now. You're like fucking either get in line or go fuck off and get back to your fucking rice patties. Like,
Yeah.
hell yeah, man.
No, you can't have Taiwan, dude.
Right. Yep, fucking Taiwan's our bitch. Let's see where you
We
want to
made
go. You
them
want
very
to
rich.
right? You want to talk some domestic stuff, or you want to stay in Europe?
I mean, we could stay in Europe. We can go on to Germany. That's good.
Yeah, man. So fucking Germany, man, they're saving democracy by, of course, banning the front runner and labeling them as right wing extremist party,
Extremes, it's
even though they are the top party in Germany right now, and that's of course the Alternative for Deutschland Party, or AFD, and yeah, they're essentially the populist party. They're basically the Make Germany Great Again party, to put it
close the
in
border, kick motherfuckers out.
right. Ultimately, if I can keep government out of motherfuckers' lives, shit like that.
They're Christian aligned
Right.
openly.
Yep. And so, yeah, ultimately they're being banned now because they're right wing extremists, and we need to save democracy. Sounds a little bit familiar, doesn't it? Ultimately, though, they are, I guess, capable of doing that because they, even though they really tried to move as far away from Nazi freaking memory as we can, you guys still fucking do the same shit. You guys still have the same fucking things in place. You guys still can ban speech and label people enemies, and you could, what is it? They did an independent study or something like that showed that they're right wing extremists. So we had to ban that because we've decided as a government that right wing is not good for Deutschland. Because we can't forget the past. Absolutely ridiculous. Absolutely. Just a clear. I don't even know what to fucking call it. Soviet style fucking election. Yeah, they just banned the opposition party. Oh, they committed suicide. We discovered that they were right wing extremesies. So let's see if I
But
can.
I mean, they can't really ban them. I mean, basically they have what they call a firewall because they have a parliamentary system, like a lot of these European countries, where it's they scream democracy, but it's anything but. But they've gotten like 36% of the vote in a lot of the different areas, especially Eastern Germany. And but what they have is like a firewall where all these other parties come together and create a block to basically cut them out. So the left wing party that just got voted out came to the party that just got voted in with a slim majority by only 8%, and to make a wall to where they're going to work together. So basically, the party that just got voted out is just coming right back in against the voters' will. And the guy that has won the position of the chancellor ran more on right wing things, saying that he was going to be more moderate on immigration, so forth. And as soon as he came in and started working with these people, he's rescinded all that and basically given control of so many aspects to the party that caused this mess to begin with. So they have power. They are, I mean, but they just can't do shit basically. And they've one of the other leading parties had to come through and work with a bill with them to get it passed. And then all of a sudden there was widespread protest. I mean, just like here, they call out the foot soldiers. You get the paid shills to go out on TV and rile up the fucking crowd and, all these protests because you're working with a party, because anything right wing is considered fucking, Satanism. But in reality, what were the Nazis, dude? They were the
Right.
fucking National Socialist Workers Party, man.
Yep.
National Socialists.
Isn't socialism like far right though? I thought socialism meant fascism, but only when we want it to.
Right. Right.
Right.
Unless you're like a democratic socialist, man. See,
Right.
that's different. It's got confetti, bro.
we, our symbol is a rose, man. Like, how much more Democrat do you need? But let's check out this tweet here. Secretary of State Marco Rubio says Germany just gave its spy agency new powers to surveil the opposition. That's not democracy; it's tyranny in disguise. What is truly extremist is not the popular AFD, which took second in the recent election, but rather the establishment's deadly open borders immigration policies. To which, of course, the German Foreign Office immediately replied back with, "This is democracy. The decision is the result of a thorough and independent investigation to protect our Constitution and the rule of law. It is independent courts that will have the final say. We have learned our history that right-wing extremism needs to be stopped."
Yep. People have been brainwashed to think that fucking, logic, pride, and self-preservation is extremesies.
Right. Yep. And don't worry, we had independent investigations, totally fucking above wire, but we got to keep that on the down low. So, everything is great. Don't ask questions. It's for democracy, right?
Yeah, no, we're not replacing you. We're just fucking taking your home so we can give it to immigrants, dude. You know what I'm saying? It's not replacement. You'll still be here. You'll just be homeless.
Right. And so I was looking into it, man, and how we were just talking about how, like, fucking we're, in terms of being the consumer versus the producer, who really holds the power at the end of the day. Well, it turns out we have a pretty fucking wide trade deficit with Germany as well. So it seems that we are once again the consumer in one of these sorts of situations, and it wouldn't be too far beyond, the pale to, like, you know what, we're gonna impose tariffs on Germany because, quite frankly, they're not a democratic place anymore, and we don't want to do business with dictators, right? So, yeah. I mean,
Even with the UK, Trump's put the stipulation on Starmer that he's got to fucking vote against anti-free speech, bills and laws in order for the trade deals to move forward. Basically, man. I
right.
mean, so
I
he's
mean,
using them tariffs for more than just trying to bully people or make money. I mean,
right.
it's
It's
about
it's
making
it's much
actual
more than a
political
graph go
change
up.
out this motherfucker.
Yep. Yep. And so, ultimately, I think Donald Trump could do something like that because, really, it's much better to have allies than, just people that we have to fucking whip into shape. It's at least, I don't know. That would seem the logical thing, but again, politics, especially geopolitics, is it's a whole different ball game. They make strange bedfellows out there. So in terms of friends per se, uh, I guess it really depends on the situation, but ultimately, we really could put the squeeze on Germany in order to get them to actually continue to be democratic in terms of how they elect their leaders. But yeah, what do you think of that?
I think that there's absolutely no way to truly influence these fucking people because I think that they're at the precipice. Like, I mean, not like you got the UK, they're ready to turn it into a mosque, and Germany, they're going full fascist while pointing the finger, screaming fascist.
Right,
I don't think there's much saving. There's no democracy involved. None of these places are direct democracies, even though they scream the term constantly. And even here, like currently, we've covered this so many times. The republic, democracy shit's not mentioned in the Constitution, yada yada. But the founders actually learned from Europe and feared democracy as much as they did fucking tyranny. You know what I'm saying? Because of the tyranny of the majority. Um, you know, and until like the vast majority of people try to, shake off the chains, which is obviously like in these situations, you're not going to vote your way out of it because they did, and everyone conspires against them. So I don't even know what to say at this point, man. It's getting rough out here across the West.
right. Fucking hard out here for a pimp. Yeah, man. Europe in general, they're not in the best state right now. They really are getting taken over by them Muslims pretty heavily. Um, and of course, it's all in the name of diversity and inclusion, and like no hate and stuff like that. And they don't even seem to realize that they're inviting in millions of people whose literal worldview is based on fucking how much they hate certain people, and how their entire religious view and shit like that is based on, not their entire, I guess, not everybody's a fucking jihadist, I suppose, but a lot of them are a good fucking amount more than there should be. So ultimately, they're letting in a whole bunch of people that are fucking, their entire ideology and worldview is based on kill the infidels and shit
Yeah,
like that.
and like for the UK, it's not even just Muslims. I mean, even the vast majority of their, representatives are all Indian, mayors and different areas, all Indian. The food there is almost all Indian now, like in London and whatnot. The biggest dish is like curry chicken, and you see the places that these people come from. I mean, not just Muslims. I mean, Indians are, a prime example where they got literal trash rivers and shit. These people can't maintain their own civilizations that are, they brag on the fact that are thousands of years older than ours, right? But yet they want to come to ours to make it like that. Ultimately,
Right.
that it's like a host, like a symbiont host that just, or parasite that just moves from fucking rock to rock. And you call it racisms, I call it reality, right? I mean,
I mean,
and
it
again,
really,
it's happening here too. I mean, we can't escape that fact. Even with
It
Trump
really
in
is
office and trying to put down deportations, what is it now, like 174,000? Dude, you should be
somewhere.
doing, we've talked about it, you need to do something like 7,000 every single day of the week.
Right.
You know what I mean? Not going to happen.
It really is like the fucking vaccine logic, right? It's only gonna, Islam and all these fucking crazy ass ideologies and communism and all this and that other type shit. It it would work great only if everybody did it though. Like that's the only way that it actually is able to work. Like it's actually your guys' fault that fucking people are getting blown up and fucking kids get fucking murdered and shit like that. Little brown kids getting blown up left and right. It's all your guys' fault because you guys don't agree with us. You guys don't believe like we do. If everybody took the shot, then it would work. It's
You should
yeah,
change like millennia's of fucking functioning worldview and
right,
change it to mine because I know better, even though I'm fucking miserable. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
dude, no, I'm
Yep.
good, man.
Yeah, my entire fucking worldview is based off of fucking hatred and victimology, and everyone's just a victim, and it's the white man that's always been the devil, throughout the entire world history. That's people's entire worldview, and those are the type of people that are getting led into fucking Europe right now
Right,
in mass numbers.
credo of envy, man.
All right.
And
Yeah.
of course, resentment, with over there. I mean, at one point, all these people that are currently invading them were colonies of fucking the UK, and now, UK is being colonized. So there, there's that. There's that little irony there, little humor.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Like in the hunter has become the hunted, so to
And I don't
speak.
care. My family traced back to the Mayflower, bro. I'm an absolute believer in colonization, and
Yeah.
that's why you're speaking English right now, and your ancestors speak Spanish, bro, because
Right.
colonization, doc.
I mean,
Fucking
it's
TVs, inner zones, fucking patriarchy. Fuck
really is kind
yes.
of the way that things work. I mean, it's really just the strongest survives. That not just in terms of physicality and brute force and shit like that, but the strongest worldviews, the strongest mindsets, the strongest systems. All of those things are the things that tend to survive. So yeah, ultimately, fucking going over there and giving these people civilization and shit like that wasn't necessarily a bad thing when you actually think about it. Especially all these, uh, as the black community likes to point out all the time. It's like, yeah, you guys brought us over here on slave ships. We didn't want to be here and shit like that. Like, yeah, you guys got a pretty good fucking deal, to be honest with you.
Right.
You guys want to be like your fucking your family and your, or not necessarily family, but your kin and shit like that over there in Africa. Like those people are fucking still living in mud huts to this motherfucking day. Like
Yeah, and
really, you want to
dude,
go
I
back
just
there?
saw a meme for this. Perfect, man. It's the same situation like you just said, and it's like, okay, set slaves free, send them to Africa. They show Cape Town totally fucking disgusting and destroyed. You know what I mean? They're like, you take over. You know what I mean? Kill your enslavers and take over the country and make your own fucking government. And then it shows Somalia and fucking, you know what I'm saying? Like different areas, man. It's just like, if you want to bitch and complain, like anywhere else that's predominantly black is a third world fucking shithole. Again,
Right.
call it racisms. It is what it is. I mean, including in our own country. And any city you go to that's primarily black, there's exceptions, of course, but the majority, there's complete shitholes. Even where I'm from, like Detroit, third world country for most of the city.
Right. Well, speaking of Detroit, we have a 7-Eleven employee that works at the local Quickie Mart down there in Detroit. And he has decided that he is going to save our democracy because this is not the way that we Americans do things here in America. So, what is it? Sri Tanadar? Something like that.
Yeah.
Something
Sri
around there.
Thanadar, dude. Yep, fucking that guy's fucking skin suit is extremely ill fitting.
Right.
It's it's pretty obvious, dude. Looking pretty strange. But what an embarrassment Michigan is politically at this point. I don't know who the fuck that is voting for these people, but one of their other representatives was just currently wearing a mask on Congress floor, just having a complete fucking meltdown. Like these people are insane. And then of course the general over there, old Big Gretch.
Right. Oh, fucking Whitmer. But yeah, so ultimately, these there have been I don't know if I can Quickie Mart employee. I can't. There we go. Here's the video of him basically explaining why this is not what we do here in America. We need to impeach Donald Trump, and yeah, you'll see. But yeah, this guy's a representative from Detroit, Michigan. So everybody down there in Detroit looks like this, right?
For a lot of them.
This is Congressman Shri Thanedar. Donald Trump has already done real damage to our democracy. But defying a unanimous Supreme Court ruling, that has to be the final straw. It's time we impeach Donald J. Trump. The court said the wrongfully deported Kilmer Garcia must be allowed to return and receive due process. Trump ignored it. He ignored the Constitution. He ignored the very checks and balances that keep our democracy intact. This isn't an isolated incident. It's part of a dangerous, deliberate pattern. That's why today I introduced a resolution to impeach Donald J. Trump, outlining 7 articles of impeachment. Article 1.
All right, that's enough of that. I can't take any more of that. But either way, let's go ahead and check this out real quick. So Democrat reps drop sponsorship of Thanadar's resolution to impeach Donald Trump. So basically everybody that went ahead and yeah, it's impeach Donald Trump. We got you, man. They all like we're done with this. We actually can you take my name off of that, please? Yeah. So
like you said, it's just repeated throwing shit at walls, bro.
Back away. Right. I mean, they really have no plan. Like literally their entire worldview, their entire political platform is we hate Donald Trump. That's it. It's all that they got. It's quite literally all that they got. Yeah. And it's I don't know. I mean, you would like to think it's starting to show, but I mean, we're seeing fucking them gaining support. I guess not really so much. I really don't see too many people. I mean, the fucking weirdos are back at it again. They're back out there picketing and shit like that. I saw some fucking weirdo standing outside of standing on the corner with a fucking a free Luigi sign. Just obviously, just by himself, just out there.
Just like, oh, you like that stuff? Just swerve over and fucking boop. Keep driving. Shit, motherfucker.
I wanted to make a fucking free Jared Loughner fucking poster and stand across the street with them. Those that don't know, Jared Loughner is the guy that fucking Gabby Giffords. Yeah. Obviously, it's a fucking joke. I don't really, think fucking, political violence is cool or anything like that. But ultimately, it is just kind of a, you guys like murder. Fucking, what about this one? They can, he was an assassin, bro. Looked like Uncle Fester, but he was a fucking assassin. But yeah, fucking people are just, absolute fucking, they have no actual platform. Their mind has no actual platform. They have no actual foundation, anything that they actually believe in. Everything is just fucking, which way is the wind blowing today, guys? That's quite literally, pretty much they're the definition of the word demagogue,
And Donald Trump is known for developing large swaths of fucking real estate. And it's in leftist minds. You know what I'm saying? I mean, just that, like you said, that's all they function on. That's their complete platform. They have no economic fucking platform except for fear. They have no fucking, foreign policy except for fucking fear. Everything is fear of Donald Trump. I believe these people have horrible fucking, night terrors when it comes to this guy. And, that's the one thing that makes his presidency great, regardless of what happens at this point, is just watching the establishment fucking squirm. That's the best part. And that was the main reason that a lot of votes that he got are there. You know what I'm saying? But, this Thanedar dude, no one knows who he is. I don't know if you've seen did you see the Piers Morgan?
I saw the clips of it.
Pretty good,
Yep.
Tinfoil, when he's naming off, his articles of impeachment, he just, not an impeachable offense. It's like saying his poll
Right.
numbers are low. You know what I'm saying? Shit like that, like just cockamamie stuff. And of course, he's still trying to run with the Abrego Garcia bullshit. I mean, more stuff come out about this guy. I mean, he's a serial abuser of his wife, and regardless of the whole, you know, the debate over the Photoshop. Yes, we know that that's a key to tell us what the symbols represent, which were put there by, someone that is involved in gang units and shit. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
I mean, besides them trying, I guess Trump, I mean, I'm not going to hold you up, right? It seemed like he believes it said MS-13. But
Yeah.
regardless of that fact, all the rest of us were well aware just by looking at it for a second. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, the whole thing's a fucking joke.
Right. Right.
Like, again, no one knows this dude's name, and no one will know his name tomorrow. This was a 5 second of fame, and the reason that these Democrats that you said, rescinded their names is, of course, because they want to be a part of anything that may stick. But all it is pure desperation, repeatedly throwing shit at walls and just hoping something sticks. And the Teflon's held up pretty well thus far, and I surely don't see this no name dude changing that.
Right. Ultimately, I believe that's what it was just it's like, oh, nobody knows who I am. Hello, my name is what is it? Fucking Shari Tanedar.
Shri
I'm pretty sure
Thanadar,
that's all
bro.
it was.
Yeah, it's a fucking, we have no leader. Maybe possibly I could be in there. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
nobody. Like as
He's
soon
the
as people
fucking
look
he's the
at you,
first
it's a wrap.
level. Right, he's the first fucking level on the fucking Mortal Kombat totem pole. You know, I mean, like he's your very first opponent. That was all. Like that's all he was. You're fighting Sonya Blade right there. You know. But yeah, ultimately, I think it was a popularity contest. You know, is just him trying to like get his name out there. Hey, everybody, look at me. Um, but yeah, ultimately, the things that he was citing, the low popularity, low popularity, poll results, things like that. Like fucking, what is it? Oh, he didn't keep his promises. He did not end the war on day one. Things like that. The Kilmar Obrego Garcia fucking thing. I mean, dude, ultimately, the only due process that he was missing was a fucking goodbye and a kick in his ass on the way out. Like that's it.
Right.
Like it was just
The
pretty
only
much
thing
an
he was
exit
missing.
interview.
Yeah, that's it. And, exactly. An interview, a moderator to sit down and fucking, okay, everything's better there now. The gangs are under control. Your family's not in danger. Smell your bitch ass
That's right.
later, dude. And ultimately, he would still get deported, even if he was brought back. The whole hold was just don't fucking send him back to his home country, which people seem to skip because of the whole Maryland man,
Right.
Maryland man. Just because I have resided in Colorado doesn't make me a Coloradoan, dude. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean, living somewhere doesn't make you necessarily a part of that place.
Right. Even if you've been there for some time, like, I mean, fuck, there's people that have lived in places for, fucking 10, 15 years and still just like, nope, fucking I'm back home and shit like that,
Right.
like, and that's the way that people are,
I've been in
fucking
Arizona
home.
for 11 years. And I'm still wearing a Detroit hat, bro. You know what I mean?
Right. Yep, exactly, man. And of course, the best part is all the fucking hilariousness and just the slow roll of fucking just bringing out like, oh, okay, yeah, he's Maryland father and shit. Like, oh, well, what about this restraining order that his wife, put up against him? Oh, okay, okay, never mind. Oh man, what about this video of him, smuggling human beings into the country? Like, oh, no, never mind. What about this handwritten document of his wife detailing, the times that he beat her and shit like that? Like, it's just like, oh, couple days in between, couple like, and like, it's really just wearing them down. It's just like, you're like, how are you still fucking trying to defend this? At this point, you're literally you won't admit that like, yeah, we were wrong on this one.
Yeah, I mean, in a lot of aspects, they have done that, but they're not coming out and saying they're wrong. Of course, they're just like
Mhm.
it's due processes. You know what I
Right.
mean? Like he
That's all
received
they
due
have left.
process. He went before 2 judges, man.
Right. Like fucking, there's like, oh, we don't like. They even got rid of the whole like, oh, we don't know that you was MS-13 and shit like that. Yeah, because they can finally, like, oh yeah, they have a documentation saying that he was MS-13. Like, dang it. Like, oh fuck. Now they have second documentation from another judge saying that he was a member of MS-13. Dang it. I guess we can't just say that because they saw him in a Bulls jersey that they figured he was MS-13. Like, they can't go with all this shit more because yeah, like I say, the slow roll out was the best fucking thing about it, dude. It's just like how many times can they shoot themselves in the foot? Like, yeah, that shit was great, man.
Dude, the
yeah,
shittiest part though is these fools spent millions of dollars in tax fucking funds flying back and forth to El Salvador to put on a show that didn't even fucking do what they were hoping anyway, man. I
Right.
mean, at
Well,
least go the
they're
cheap route like Milli Vanilli and have sit-ins.
right, and they're on the defense right now. They ain't playing on the offense no more. So really, that's all that they got right now. Is just like, let's go fucking take photos with the guy and like we're fighting for him and shit like that. And the next thing you know, it's like, oh yeah, he's fucking been fighting his wife for years and shit like that. Yeah, so I mean, ultimately, that picture ain't gonna do you much more good these days.
Yeah, and then in that same time span, you see Hakeem Jeffries, and Cory Booker, fucking AKA Spartacus, rather Clitoris. They were having sing-alongs
Timu
and
Obama.
sit-ins. You know what I mean? Right? It didn't cost no monies. You know what I'm saying? Like they're normal security, and that's it. I mean, if you're gonna
Yep.
have pointless fucking protests, at least don't charge your fucking constituents for it.
Right. Yep. It's all just showmanship, man. That's all you need, bro. Just go out there and
Put
fucking
on a show.
yeah, put on some pizzazz. But yep, ultimately, this impeachment ain't gonna go nowhere. I know it is all just a fucking political stunt. Again, the dude's fucking 100 days in. Like, what do you expect him to fucking deliver on every single thing that he promised? Like, he's delivered already on like a good 80% of it. So I mean, there's that. You got to take that into account. But ultimately, yeah, this whole thing is absolutely ridiculous. It's nothing more than a political stunt. Dude needs to go back to working at the Quickie Mart.
Thank you.
At the same time, man, the dude's clearly fucking like Indian, man. Like, why the fuck are we even listening? Like, how are you here?
Right.
Why? How did you get here?
Right. Exactly.
Did Elon Musk bring you?
Foreigners should not be able to hold office. First generation foreigners should not be holding office. I give a shit. And I mean, I don't care.
Right.
I don't give a fuck. I mean, there's nothing that could change my mind. There's not even any like, stipulations or, equivocations. It's
right. I don't even care if you figured out how to use toilet paper and use clean water. Like, I don't even care. That doesn't even qualify you. Like, but no, dude, like the way, I don't know, man, like, not to be a dick and shit on other people's cultures, man, but they're pretty disgusting over there, dude.
Man.
Like, absolutely.
Right? Like
yeah,
I was saying, trash rivers and
fucking
shit.
Food vendors on the side of the street just fucking with their hands, like, feet in the dirt and shit, like while the rats are running. Like, dude, those people are fucking disgusting, dude. Like, they bathe in fucking piss. Like, they drink cow's fucking piss. Like, they drink cow urine over there.
They be eating cow shit. They make soup out of it, bro. Boil it down and strain it out, man. Soup base.
Yeah, those people are fucking disgusting, dude. Like, why are you here, and why are you in any sort of position of power? Like, this doesn't make any fucking sense to me.
That's when you see like him and Vivek and H-1B1 fucking visas and all. That's the future of America, is Indians arguing over what it means to be Americans.
Right. Well, I'm
fuck you, bloody! Fuck you, bloody!
American. Right. Oh man, good old America, American multiculturalism at its finest.
Right.
Yep, we're also getting to work on ending that birthright citizenship you got going there. Those fucking anchor babies, right? So that was another thing that the left
that's all going to be involved
complaining
with the
about.
Supreme Court, and you see that they've been fucking folding like a goddamn wet blanket, man.
Yep, they definitely have. So I mean, like I said, we'll have to see how that ends up going. But in the meantime, what the left are kicking and screaming about right now is that people are getting to take their kids with them when they get deported, right? Rather than your kid was born here, that kid's an American citizen. That ain't got shit to do with you. Like, I mean, you fucking leave the kid with some next to kin, or you could fucking, leave him with the system. I don't know. Or you could take him with you, and it doesn't matter, because either way, the Democrats are going to bitch about it. Whether you leave the kid here, they're like, oh, they're separating families, or whether you send them back, like, oh, they're deporting children now.
How
Like,
dare
it doesn't
you?
matter.
Right.
Right. So I mean, either way, it's a lose-lose situation in terms of the media and the optics and things like that. But ultimately, in reality, I mean, this is reality. Like, your parents, sorry, they broke into this country. They're not supposed to be here. Even if they've been here for X amount of years, like, why haven't you guys started the process? Like, why haven't you guys taken any initiative to actually become an American citizens? Like, you've been here for some time now. You seem to like it here. Like, you think you want to fill out this paperwork for us, maybe, like, maybe show up in court or something like that, like it might help. But nope. It's like, I popped out child, I'm like, I mean, yeah, that's obviously it incentivizes illegal immigration. It's bad all the way around. I understand, during America's inception, the founding fathers, oh, we were all immigrants here at one point. Not necessarily, we were more colonizers and conquerors, but that's besides the point. But either way, everybody that's not a fucking Native American came from a different country at some point. Well, according to your guys' science, even Native Americans came from fucking the land bridge over through Asia. So they weren't fucking here either. And since they were colonizers before history was even recorded, so whatever, but yeah, I understand the whole fucking principle back at the beginning, but that was then, this is now. And yeah, right now we sending fucking whole families home, right? You guys want to stay together? You guys are staying together over there.
Yeah, it's your choice. You got. I mean, that's the thing that you want to see, right? You want families together. You don't want them separated. Oh, now we'll give you a free ride home, dude. You know what I mean? First
Right.
class is McDonald's, even.
Yep. And then, I mean, dude, like I said, he's even offering the whole CBP-1 self-deportation, things like that. Like, well, dude, if you just go fucking back and hang out in Mexico for a little while, once we get a lot of this shit sorted out, you can fucking start to apply again, but you're going to go through the application process. We're going to have the remain in Mexico policy. So we're going to fucking actually screen people before we just start letting fucking mass people in and shit. But I mean, honestly, Donald Trump's being more than fair with this whole immigration, illegal immigration thing, and really the whole the mindset that people have that's making them like, oh, this is terrible, is just because over the last 4 years it has been absolute bedlam down there, down here at the border. There's people just rushing through, like it's normal, fucking government workers with tractors out there holding up barbed wire fences so illegal immigrants can come through. It's absolute lawlessness, and that is the mindset that people have at least the leftists have developed on how our immigration system works. So yeah, that's why they're over here all screaming. And ultimately, our immigration system has been fucked for some time. Illegal immigration has been a thing for quite some time, and we have immigration laws. Nobody fucking enforces them because, I don't know, we need people to bend and pick the fucking berries and shit like that. We need fucking field workers and shit like that. We need some cheap labor that we could exploit from people that are desperate. That's what we need. So immigration.
We surely don't need millions of them. I'm okay with spreading the wealth and giving some catch jobs, but you still have to be vetted. You got to go through a process and obtain a green card and fucking be able to work, right? I mean, that's all fine. But they have nothing to screech about. Fucking Obama. I mean, they referred to him as the deporter in chief. He deported between 3.5 to 5 million people. Even if you go, with the conservative end of that, the 3.5. I mean, that's a shit ton of people, way more than Trump's even attempted. And Trump, if anything, can't help himself, like most so-called right-wing elected positions. He's immediately moderated. It went from mass deportations to, we're going to get rid of the fucking gang members and criminals. You know what I mean? And they still act like it's, it's fascism, it's Nazism, just like fucking World War II's is. And, they're literally removing criminal fucking elements out of the country. And the whole fucking due process shit, that's not the same aspect. They keep saying that because they want to brainwash people into believing and accepting that all these illegals have to go through some type of fucking trial before they're removed, and that's not the case. It's a literal, even a CBP agent can fucking sit and talk to them. You have no papers, you have no, travel fucking paperwork, no asylum applications, no nothing like that. You didn't go through the process. Turn the fuck around and smash out, son. That's due
Right.
process as far as they're concerned. It's not the same as an American citizen, regardless of what the lizards keep pounding into your fucking head. They're good old boy fucking gargles, right? As fucking the old Al Charlatan would like to say. But you know, ultimately, again, it's complete moderation. We're talking 174,000 people out of an estimated 11 to 20 million. Fuck right off with that bullshit. I don't care how many sob stories they show, how many little aliens or whatever. Fucking dude, gone I get.
Right. Yep. There's a right way to do things. There's a wrong way to do things, man. I mean, it is what it is. Welcome to the fucking 2025 Project 2025. Dun, dun, dun. But speaking of fucking 2025, man, fucking what's your thought? Right, it's happening, you guys. Whether you like it or not, this is the new world order.
Well, like I said, I wish, I mean, even like I said, I don't support political violence. I mean, obviously, you wouldn't want to on a regular basis. Like the what was it, Madison that said, like a republic is for well moraled and mannered people. You know what I'm saying? Basically, telling you it's only for a high trust society, and the
Yep.
Second Amendment is for exactly keeping it that, and sometimes it has to happen, right? When you get to the old fucking Pinochet type of movement, and you got to get rid of the fucking communists. And it sucks because they use the tactics against you. Like right now, we're pointing out they're jailing their political opponents, they're banning their political opponents. But man, I mean, something's got to give either way. I mean, this is America's, and like the old original flag said, "Fucking join or die, son."
Right. Yep. I think a lot of the stuff that we're doing is also going to end up helping with that in the long run too. Like there's a lot of election integrity things, taking place, executive orders, things like that. We're seeing some legislation rather, on, voter rolls, things like that. So, I mean, a lot of that stuff is getting worked out. It's not necessarily on the front lines right now because the lefties don't seem to be screeching about it as much. They're really focused on making sure that we bring MS-13 members back to the United States, and making sure that every single one of the hundreds of thousands of people sees their day in court with a trial and a jury of their peers and whatnot. So ultimately,
They
have
did
those
stop the
things.
SAVE Act though in the Senate. You
Did
know
they?
what I mean? Yeah. Yeah. Schumer immediately fucking dead. They need 61 votes. Not going to get a single Democrat vote. Dead on the
Right.
floor.
Yep. Well, at least we're seeing some stuff on the local platforms. At least here in Arizona, we did kind of clean up our election integrity and things like that within the last couple of years, actually. So at least things are getting rolling in that direction. Of course, California still has it's illegal to ask for an ID to vote. However the fuck that works.
Right. I mean, hopefully this is going to come back though. Apparently Johnson says that it can be reworked, and they can send it through with reconciliation. So
Right.
we'll see how it goes. And he also said they're about to come back from their break. Of course, working 10 days a month, they got to have those vacations. But he swears
Absolutely.
that's the next push is to codify some of Trump's EOs, which ultimately they should have the votes to do.
Yep. Shit. We hope so. We hope so, man. Yeah, we'll see how it ends up turning out. What's your thoughts on the whole Europe blackout thing, man?
Pretty insane, man. Another example of fucking green energy failure, I'd have to say. I mean, there's, of course, there's the conspiracies that, it was a cyber attack or what have you. But apparently, they, like in Spain, for instance, they rely up to as much as 70% at, a given time on, wind and solar. And we've seen them fail here too in Texas, right? When everyone was fucking freezing to death and they tried to see, it's because the Trumps went when, in reality, it was, the solar failed. It was covered in ice, you know?
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. Do you think it was the solar flare? What I don't know. What do you think it was? There's obviously a whole bunch of different theories going out, but
yeah, I mean, I'm sure
definitely
that
some
could have
crazy stuff,
paid
man. What
fucking,
do you think it was?
that could have been a contributor. I mean, obviously, I mean, supposedly it got through a hole or a weak spot in the ozone, right? Which, they don't like to talk about that shit outright. They love to push climate fear, but not reality, because reality would really send people into a fucking tailspin. But the magnetic fucking field is getting weaker, and it just happened to hit one of the weak spots. And this is all, theory, and I'm fucking no one, I know shit. But supposedly that was a major contributing factor. But the point is that instead of relying on, truly reliable sources like fucking, nuclear energy, they've decided to go with wind and whatnot. And that shit, that's only gonna fucking go so far. It's not the same, man.
Yep. Yeah. Man, fucking it's definitely gonna be some interesting times going on, especially if you've been hearing about people like, oh, the poles are gonna shift, things like
Yeah.
that. Entering a new ice age and stuff. I mean, ultimately, if that's the case, we ain't got shit to worry about. We're gonna die. But either way, I ultimately don't think that there's much, in terms of giving money to Bill Gates and shit like that, that is gonna stop something like that from taking place. Really, I do think our ultimate destiny is to get off this planet. Even if it's more than likely it's going to just be a select few that's going to make it out, if anybody ends up making it out of this place. But
I mean, they're gonna need
nonetheless-
workers. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, yep. But I mean, shit. Depending on how far they go, man, fucking they could live on a space station for a couple generations. In which case, they fucking pop them out, man. Fucking everybody's job. Everybody has a job, and that's fucking make babies. we got 300 fucking years until we make it to our destination. Everybody's gonna be popping out babies that entire fucking time. All right.
That's our natural reason for existence, but we can't maintain birth rates. You know what I'm saying?
Yep, that's what I say, man. Fucking if this place fucking collapses, I'm saying if we're flying on a fucking international space station all the way.
It'd have to be a generational ship to get to the closest planet, like closest habitable anyway.
It's like, fuck it, dude. We'll push this ship to the fucking very brink, to the very fucking maximum, to where people are living elbow to elbow. And then just when everybody's like, oh, it's unsustainable, we can't do this, the ship's gonna end, we'll arrive at our fucking destination. Everybody will climb off the ship, and it's a whole new. Obviously, this is all just fucking hypothetical, sci-fi.
Frolic in the rainbows, man.
Right. But yeah, ultimately, I think our greatest goal really has got to be to get the fuck out of here, man. Figure something out, especially if things like pole shifts or fucking melting ozone layers, global warming is going to end up taking us all out. Anything like that. I mean, because ultimately it is inevitable. It's an inevitability. It's not necessarily like, oh, like, don't worry, we just need to stop driving cars and we need to switch to glass bottles and stuff like that, and we'll stop it. Like, no, dude, mass extinctions and shit like that. Ice ages, shifting of the fucking planet and the plates themselves. That's always taken place on this planet. We've just been living in a certain time period on this planet that makes it sustainable that we could live the way that we live right now. But ultimately, this planet's always been changing since its birth. And that's just the way that it kind of goes. So, I mean, really, there's no amount of like, oh, everybody stop taking jets and shit like that that we're going to do that's going to stop that,
You mean taxing your people into complete poverty is not going to change the weather, dude?
I don't think so, man. I mean, maybe if we gave it all to Elon Musk, let's try giving it all to Elon Musk instead of Bill Gates and see if that works out. Right. Like, he's just got to take his fucking clan and go fucking colonize Mars or some shit. God damn it, he fucked us, man. Right. I mean, ultimately, yeah, like I said, even if we do end up, finally making it out of this fucking place, 99% of us are probably going to be fucking left behind,
Yeah, but that's okay, right? I mean, it's the
Yeah.
old planting the tree you'll never sit in the
Yep.
shade of, man. It's the continuation of the species.
It's fucking Bruce Willis on that fucking rock saying goodbye. Fucking Armageddon style, man. Like that's
Mhm.
what it is, It's yep, is what it is, like fuck it. We're all gonna die, fucking at least if some fucking survive, then well, it was all worth it, I suppose.
Yeah, I mean, but like you said, it's an inevitability, and that's the only way for the true continuation is to smash the fuck out.
Right. Shit, could you imagine it like how it would be, like living several generations on a spaceship, just fucking careening through space, getting towards a destination that's going to take place in a couple hundred years or something like that. Like, could you imagine like the types of things that people would learn, that people would, kind of would be just kind of like obviously worldview or ship view, because there's not necessarily a world per se at that point. Like, thoughts on morality, things like that, how that would all end up morphing over that long span of time.
Yeah, it would be a bunch of people with no concept of race or birth or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? I mean, if as far as philosophically, I mean they would be completely bereft of that. Like all they would know is just interior walls and space travel. I mean, it'd be
Right.
almost like a whole reset of the species.
But at the same time, you would also have to think that, things like education, all that would have to, it would have to be on things that we need to remember when we get to this planet. Like, I don't know,
Right,
I've been learning
survival.
about agriculture my entire life, but I've never seen soil before. Like I've
Right.
heard it exists though. And I heard that when we get to where we're going, that we're all going to need to know how to, compost and how to do all this and that type shit. So that way we could survive. Like, but I've never seen it before. Especially because there's probably going to be an entire generation that has never seen it and knows that they never will either.
Yeah, several probably.
Right? It's fucking intense fucking thought, man. Especially like I say, it's survival. I mean, it is what it is. I
You think the
suppose, but
hardest would be
just
for the first
just
generation there, you know what I
it's
mean?
just
Because like they're the
whole
ones
new
that even
world.
know I'm never get to come home.
Right? Yep. Man, fucking insane. Yeah. They'd just be sitting like, especially because you imagine the amount of anxiety that would take place in that first generation. Like, fuck, dude, like we made it off that planet. Like, if we fucking die out here, like all life is fucked. Like all life is over. Like, you gotta wait until fucking some shit comes back together. I don't know how the fuck it happened. Obviously, I don't know. But yeah, that'd be pretty fucking far out shit to have to go through, man, as a species.
Yeah, like I said, that first
Yep.
generation, once you got past that, again, that's all they'd know. So it would be everyday life. But the first ones, it would be just completely hopeless. Like my only position on here is to make sure the ship continues its voyage, man, to the end of my existence. And then the
Yep.
next generation just thinks that that's life. You know what I mean? And
All right.
so on.
Yeah. Could you imagine the generation like, fuck, dude, we're gonna be the first ones to land there, man? Like, I don't know. I've only heard about it. They said it was going to be great, but then again, what do we fucking know? That was people that lived 100,
Right.
300 fucking years ago. They spotted it out with an electron telescope from, billions and billions of fucking light years away. Like, I don't know. And then
Hey, it's hard
we
to
get
know
there
if
and
you'd
it's all
even make
fucking
it there
shit
in time,
planet.
dude. Yeah. Like I said,
Right.
it's hard to know if you'd make it there in time. You leave the earth, it seems habitable, everything is, right. You send
You
off, by
get
the
there,
time
it's a
you get
frozen
there, it's
planet too.
fucking dead, right?
Right there, fucking ice. Oh fuck, man, we timed it wrong, dude. They're in their ice age now too. Like, damn it. Yep. Because there'd be no way of us being able to tell. Like, obviously, we can't even fucking tell when our planet's going to end up going up in flames, or whatever the fuck it ends up doing. So how are we going to be able to, be able to tell, with a planet that we're only able to actually see from, okay, the light went away, so that means it's there. Okay, the light went away again, so that means we know how long its rotation is, and it's in that zone. Like, that's literally the only fucking actual data that we have on any of these way, way, way out far distant planets that we believe may be capable of sustaining life. Like, we don't actually know. It's just logical guess based off of measurements and things like that, by basically seeing
theory, man.
a tiny fucking blip of light way out in the distance and seeing, boop, okay, it blinked, it flashed. That must mean something went past it. Like, that's really the only actual information we have. So I mean, fuck, dude, that would suck. Just like send them out there, send it on a big old autopilot course and shit, and then but then again, you never know. A lot could take place within that time. Shit, maybe they could, like, maybe I don't fucking know. I don't know how. Again,
I mean, we have long range
like
satellites, that are going to deep space. They're already much further than we've ever gone, and just continuously sending back images. At some point, they're going to see a planet that looks, visually like this could be a water planet or a forest planet, and that satellite's going to be towards the end of its lifespan, and let's just take it in for a crash landing and see what we can record on the way in. I mean, at this point, that's probably the best route. But again, it's going to take decades. You and I probably won't be here.
Right, definitely. Like, do you think any life forms out there have done that to us?
Possibly.
You think we came here from a spaceship in the first place? Because of course, fuck, dude, it'd be really hard. Like, fucking, it'd be a I don't know, several generations fucking game of telephone, where the fucking entire mindset of this species just completely fucking warps for a couple of hundred of years. So I mean, it'd be a really difficult to actually be able to pass down, like, oh yes, we all arrived here at a certain time when our planet was being destroyed, and we only arrived with a couple of hundred people, and so we've populated the entire Earth. It's taken us several thousand years, but we've done it. Like, fuck, that'd be crazy shit.
Yeah, it's the alternate human theory that we came from somewhere else. I mean, there's so many aspects physically, like the fact that we have widespread back issues. It's from you're from somewhere with a lower gravity. Your skin burns. You're from a planet that's further away from its star. I mean, there's a lot of different aspects in the theory, and that something similar to, like, Project Lucifer, like a CERN.
Where do black guys come from?
Right? They could have been the ones that were already here. I mean, really, they say that that's the original life from Africa or whatever, right? That could, the lighter skinned
they were the
people,
superior race
people that came in. Yeah, I mean, we're talking way
gangs
back to Lemuria.
Yeah. Yep. Fucking. That'd be some pretty crazy stuff, If that was the case, again, I don't fucking know, It's one of the great fucking mysteries of all mankind, But man, there's definitely a good possibility that there could be something out there. Do you think that there's any sort of? I mean, we'd have to find somewhere that we could just set fucking space stations here, there. Either that, or we would need to be able to manipulate time and space, or fold time and space, wormholes, things like that, in order to actually just be like, fuck it, dude, I'm going over to this fucking planet, like, I'm going to hang out over there. I heard there's a big party going down. Like, fuck it, I'll time warp real quick. Like, do you think that's a possibility? Obviously,
yeah, absolutely. There are already, like, warping, solid matter objects. Like, they've just done that recently. So, it won't be, again, it may not be in our lifetime, but you'll be able to, Scotty beam me up type of shit at some point.
That'd definitely be much more, feasible in terms of making it to somewhere sustainable, rather than fucking just like, all right, guys, I'm driving the car. See, we'll get there in about 5,000 years, but we'll get there. Like, yeah, I think it'd be much better just like, all right, guys, we're just gonna see all this distance between us. We're just gonna fold that in half and just, whoop, okay, we're there. I think that'd be much more. Again, this is all fucking theoretical stuff that I've heard about. I ain't no fucking scientist. I ain't no physicist. We're all just bullshitting. But yeah, I feel like that would be the much more logical way to actually go about exploring our entire universe rather than just like, all right, guys, we're going on a 3,000 year long car trip. Let's go. Don't forget your toothbrush.
Yeah, that's crazy thought. And then the dark forest theory, right? That they're either not out there, or they could all have already died out, or it's dark on purpose because they don't want to be found. You know what I mean? Because of other
Right.
things that are out there. I mean,
Right.
it's a lot to think. I mean, and then even as far as they say about we've received radio signals and shit like that. Again, there's a very good possibility that by the time you sent something back or made your way that way, that world or entire civilization would have already gone,
Right.
dust of time at this
Yep.
point, bleach bones.
Fucking life's just little bloop,
Yeah.
bloop, bloop, in different spaces of in in space and time, and we just never actually run into each other because we end up fucking getting too smart. And of course, when you get too smart, you kill yourself. So, right? They've all done it, man. Nobody fucking makes it off their planet. Everybody, once you get to the level of intelligence to actually be able to fucking warp time and space and shit like that, the entire world fucking, they're too smart for their own good. They all become a bunch of fucking whiny liberals fucking talking about human rights and give peace of chin, and everybody just ends up blowing themselves up. Like, happens every fucking time, dude. Like,
Everything's fucking social theoretics and whatnot. You know what I mean? Like, again, like you were talking about Rand earlier. Like, it as things should be in your own mind rather than how they really are in reality.
right. Yeah, fucking shit. God keeps trying, man, but we keep fucking it up.
Yep, that, and you get to a certain intelligent level, and then you create something you can't control. It destroys you. Like, again, like I was
Right.
saying, the cast-offs from in the 12th planet solar system that ultimately became lizard people that we have here now, the leaders, the warmongers. That Project Lucifer, again, it was like a CERN type of situation where they turn that bitch on and crack the planet.
Yeah. Fucking crazy. Fucking, you think, I don't know, how do you think humanity would react to finding out, like, definitively that there's life on other planets, and we know about it because they've been coming to see us for some time now, you know?
Your religious zealots might have a hard time, but they have a hard time anyway. You know what I'm saying? I think the rest
It
of
feel
us
like,
would be intrigued, excited. Some people might be scared, but I don't think it would cause the widespread panic that they use as a tool to classify things.
and in terms of like a lot of the religious zealots and shit like that, because I hang out with quite a few of them. We've had this conversation before. It's like it almost kind of feel like fuck, man, like, damn, dad had an extra family that we didn't know about this whole fucking time, man. Like,
Oh no,
fucking
like
hey.
I've always said, man, it's that doesn't disprove God or anything like that. It
Right.
means the God's belt buckle should say "bad motherfucker" on it. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's a much more complex and wider thing than just the childish, vain fucking aspect that we hold. Like, this tiny little speck in the middle of fucking an almost endless sea of planets and stars that fucking we're God's fucking ultimate. You know what I
Right.
mean? And like you said, we can't even maintain fucking infrastructure in Western society, let alone be the universe's chosen.
But based off of what I've based off of those conversations that I've had with a lot of the religious zealots and stuff like that, their thought process isn't like, no, if anything, it'd feel like we found a brother that we never knew we had, like, that's the way that they kind of view it.
Yeah,
At least,
you'd hope it would be
with
that way. You know what I'm
with
saying?
the couple that I've talked with, it's not like
Yeah.
I go around conducting interviews with at different churches about like, oh, like, so what would you think if it turned out that there was extraterrestrial life on other planets that we didn't know about?
Dude, I mean, like I said, I've had a
But
pretty
yeah,
long conversation with a pastor about the shit, and he agreed with me on the aspect, the old Sitchin theory that conservatively there's say there's 100 million planets, 10% of that is fucking habitable. 10% of that actually fucking holds life. I mean, you're talking, well over, a million planets that sustain life. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
again, it's childish and narcissistic and vain to think that of what we conceive as an endless universe, that we're not only the only ones but the pinnacle. Absolutely
Yep.
fucking ridiculous.
Especially, man, if the book of Job teaches you anything, it's fucking, you try as you might, you can't put God into a box. You can't define what God can and can't do. I don't give a
Right.
fuck
And if you
how
go by the
wise you
book
think
of
you are.
Enoch, you go by the book of Enoch, I mean, it's written in deep description of, flight. You know what I mean? Seeing the heavens from above and in detail. I mean, it was obvious description of being in flight above the planet. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Yep. Fucking, yeah, definitely some interesting stuff, man. But yeah, well, we'll have to see how it goes, man. In the meantime, let's try to survive. I guess the next fucking world war or whatever the fuck we're trying to not get into, and hope for the best, man. If we find alien life one day, that'd be cool. But in the meantime, we're really fucking things up here.
You got to worry about this fucking advanced dinosaur race that lives on the inner Earth, man. That's
Right? Fucking
that's
the
the real
lizard
problem.
folks, man.
Right. I mean, the lizard
Skinwalkers and
folks will hold public office, but
shit. Right? Exactly. I say they're running a fight back against the lizards. Fucking monitor lizards and shit, man.
if anyone ever doubts the
But
existence of that
all
type of
right, I
shit,
think that's about all
people
we
like
got for today, man.
they gotta say, dude, the lizard shit. People think that's a joke and laugh like fucking. That's right wing meme shit. I mean, do yourself a favor and read Gold of the Gods. You know what I'm saying? It's a short book, 150 pages. Decent portion of that is Polaroid pictures, and you'll see some shit that will shock you. That's much older than anything in America. That pretty much shows you that lizard people were at least one point real shit.
Yeah, we'll have
Yeah,
to
I
check that
mean,
out.
yeah.
Right on. But yeah, if I can, yep, definitely some crazy times we're living in, man. Uh, yeah. If you guys are still watching, don't forget to subscribe. If you're not already subscribed, like this video, share it out with your friends. Let us know what you guys think in the comment section. Anything else you want to throw in before we roll on out?
Hit us up on the old social medias, man. Everybody's on social media. Every fucking platform's got 1 billion+ users or some shit. Hit up your guys, dude. Let's fucking share some clips, dude. Get down on some chit chats. Thanks for stopping in. Always come in on Friday. Hit up the other channels. Smell your asses later.
Yeah, links in the description below. Like, subscribe, share, and fuck off.